Great morning, everyone. Great Saturday morning. A little bit late this morning, but it's truly good to see you all. Looks like we are ready to go. I should have audio everywhere. Should have also video everywhere. Just checking a couple of housekeeping technical things on my end, making sure we are good. Setting up my screen, setting up so forth and so on. And let's get ready to go. So good to see you all. It is a blessing to be here before you. Late, yeah, but just to be here is really a fantastic feeling. And you know how sometimes the things happen in life, whereas we almost just don't get there. Another one of those episodes with me. But I think that the value in that is that in getting here is that you really appreciate the journey. I appreciate my journey, and I am so grateful for being here each and every Saturday morning that I get to be here to be able to help, to be a blessing, and to and I think my audio. Let me just kind of like make sure that my audio. Okay, there we go. I think my audio now should be good. If anyone has heard any echoing before, then please ignore that. And I consider it to be a lesson, but it's a blessing just to be here, to be able to share with you um, a gift, and also to be able to help, because so many people out here are in need of help when it comes to self-image, self-confidence, and self-esteem. That I could not be here, no matter what goes on, no matter how many challenges I find. That it just doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that I get to come here. What does matter is the fact that I get to engage with you all. And what it does matter is that God gave me another day to be able to make a difference in someone's life. And that makes the biggest difference all in the world for me. So I can ignore most of the things that take place in my life that sometimes preempt me from wanting to do better and be better. So I'm here for you. That's the best way to put it. I am here for you. I am Mitch Race. This is the Mitch Race podcast. I see you, I hear you, and I help middle aged to seasoned professional men and women who are distracted, unclear, and don't know their value gain clarity and vision so they can become the best version of themselves while earning the desired high level income to match their image. It is such a blessing again to be here before you. And thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about negative thinking and low self esteem. And there is a link between negative thinking and low self esteem. There is a link because low self esteem can lead to negative thinking, and negative thinking can make low self esteem worse. It makes it much more worse. And people with low self esteem may engage in negative self talk. Okay. Negative self talk is a common sign of low self esteem. I'll give you an example. Um, excuse me. Uh, the I can't do anything right. I shouldn't even try. I'm such a mess. And yeah, and sometimes we say those things jokingly, and it's probably self deprecation. That's probably a whole another thing. Um, but people with low self esteem may focus on their flaws instead of their strengths. So we engage sometimes, I have, in negative self talk. The whole thing. I'm such a klutz. Nobody likes me. I should stop trying to make friends. Try that one on for size. Um, I don't like anything about myself. I don't like my hair, my skin, my nose. I'll tell you, when I grew up, um, I didn't like things about myself. I didn't like my ears. I thought they were funny. I thought my skin, I was very, very light skinned. I thought my ears were like antennas. I thought I had a funny shaped head. I didn't like my nose. And, in fact, when I was growing up, I thought my nose was actually probably cute when I was growing up as a kid. But then when I got older, I sort of like had this thing, as many of us probably did in the 80s, where for some reason or another, and it's probably media, whereas, and seeing ourselves in media as much as we did, that we started to realize things about ourselves that we didn't like. All of a sudden, we didn't like our nose. Okay. Michael Jackson at the time and so many other people were talking about plastic surgery. So I guess plastic surgery is one of the things that was coming up and happening in the 80s. And and even though we didn't have social media like we have it now, television was considered social media and still is very much considered social media. People may look at social media more like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But I'm here to tell you that it's a viable medium that's out here, television, even newspapers, anything that is media and contains the elements of being social is social media, and it can have an effect on you. So it had an effect on me. I want to tell you that, and and so many other people. So I wanted to actually change my nose. And I'm so glad that I thought about that and said, no, you don't have to do that. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yet there are people out there now probably saying that still. And Michael Jackson obviously is going on, and the media is still going on. People say things like, I'm so dumb. I'm not smart enough. I don't have what it takes. I don't know what I'm doing in this job. I don't know what I'm doing podcasting. I don't know what I'm doing anywhere. You get to choose to love to change that thinking around and look at what you do have. Look at the talents and look at the gifts that God has blessed you with. Look at who you are. Look at what you if you're looking and you're focusing on who you are and you really don't like who you are, okay. How about focusing on what you can become with the right teaching, with the right guidance, with the right podcasts, with the right training, with the right investment in yourself, with the right attitude, with the right faith? What can you do? A lot. A lot can change. So those are things that are negative, and those are some of the negative things that we say, and those are some of the negative things that people do say who have low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem compare themselves negatively to others, and they blame themselves for things that are out of their control. The things that are out of your control are out of your control. The things that you have control over, obviously, are the things that you have control over. And just some of those things are just not worth it. If you getting out of your frame of mind of being success minded and thinking about the other things that are totally out of your hands. The weather is out of your hands. Don't worry about it. Microphone and things like that not in place. Don't worry about it. That's something that's in your control, but it's probably out of control now. I left my wallet at home. Okay. It doesn't mean that your value has decreased. It just means you left your wallet at home. But people will blame themselves. Oh, and they'll go back into negative self-talk. I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. I can't believe I forgot that. And again, you're not focusing on the things that you need to be focused on. You're not focusing on the positive things that are happening in your life. And that's what I want to encourage you to be focused on those things. That's one of the reasons why I love self-image, because it makes you look at yourself differently. It makes you take a closer look at not the things that are going on so much, and yes, on the outside of who you are, because what you see is a reflection. But what you have going on the inside is really, really a big deal and a true reflection. and can be a true reflection of who you are and who you're going to become, and that's exciting. So I'm here to help you to raise your self-esteem, to help you to raise your level of confidence, to help you to focus and not become distracted out here on the things that don't matter. People with low self-esteem may also have difficulty in making decisions, communicating their needs, pursuing their goals. And negative thoughts can help make it hard to cope. And and the negative and people with low self-esteem and negative thinking also have cognitive distortions. And I know that's a big word, but we're going to break it down. Like catastrophizing. That's a cognitive distortion. Catastrophizing. That's another big word. We're going to break that down. And it can lead to more negative thinking. Let's talk about what a cognitive distortion is first. Okay, a cognitive distortion, and we're not going to get, to Dr. whatever. I don't want to use names, but we get to choose to love to learn about things. And I love learning about things, and I love being able to share the things that I learned. So when I have new words and big words, I love sharing in those things. And we get to expand our thinking and become better at who we are and what we do and what we know. So a cognitive distortion is a thought that causes a person to perceive reality inaccurately due to being exaggerated or irrational. Cognitive distortions are involved in the onset or perpetuation of psychopathological states. Big word for depression and anxiety. Psychopathology is a study of mental illness, and it includes the signs and symptoms of all mental disorders. I want to go back to that other big word, which was catastrophizing. Catastrophize. It's so funny to say that word. I love that word though. Catastrophizing or catastrophizing. That's okay. I'm going to give myself a huge pass on that because it's a word that I just came in contact with last week. Catastrophizing. And catastrophizing means that a person fixates on the worst possible outcome and treats it as likely, even when it is not. It's what I would call doom and gloom language. Let's say someone experiences a small cut on their finger and somebody who catastrophizes happens to see that. They might be thinking all sorts of things like, oh God, it might be infected and it's bleeding so much. Oh God, they might have to remove the finger. They might have to remove the hand. They might have to move the arm. Stop. It's negative thinking. It's negative thinking that keeps compounding the interest in a bank account that you don't make deposits in. So I say all that to say that, and I know that some of that was really dramatic, but that is exactly what catastrophizing is. It's an exaggeration of things. And you and I both know that there are people that do that, and we know people like that as well. So I just kind of going to say that if you or someone you know catastrophizes or catastrophizes, note that this is a sign of negative thinking, and that it can lead to lower self-esteem. Got it? So if you're getting these things and you got it, and if you got that particular thing, put it in the comments. Say it out loud. Say, I got it. So loud that you can hear it and say that I got it. And maybe it'll help you and maybe it'll help someone else. And that's what it's all about. Negative thinking can be a symptom of low self-esteem, which is a negative perception of one's own worth, knowing your value. People with low esteem, self-esteem, don't know their value. And you're saying, oh, I know my value. Do you? It's not for me to point out, excuse me, it's not for me to really question your value because I don't. I happen to think and know that you're valuable. But the question is more, do you think that you are valuable? Do you know your value? And I'm not trying to point that out in a negative way or kind of point you out or anyone, because I can honestly tell you, if you really want to be casual about it and savoir faire about it, I can tell you that that was me. Yeah. And I am super valuable. And I understand that. But it takes time because sometimes you go through certain things in your life and you just are not sure. You really don't know your value. I didn't know my value at the time. And I had had all kinds of high profile jobs and served all kinds of high profile people. Honestly, as one of the deans would say that hired me, Mitchell, your resume is absolutely star studded. And I don't say that as a pat on the back. I say that as genuinely knowing what I've done in my life, how I served, and who I served, and not feeling like I need to really prove it to anyone. But we can sit down and have a conversation about that. It's part of my story. I'm actually excited about that part of my story, knowing where I came from and getting the opportunity to revisit it and seeing all the cool things that have actually occurred in my life. But now I'm on to some cooler things because I'm really in it to help people and to share with people the pitfalls of low self esteem and the times when you don't know your value and you don't have confidence in yourself. So I'm glad to be able to have a story and share that with you. So negative thinking can also be a symptom of low self esteem. And again, which is a negative perception of one's own worth. And people with low self esteem may also experience anxiety, self criticism, and difficulty making decisions. These factors can lead to reluctance or even a fear to pursue goals and a lack of satisfying relationships. Can you imagine being actually afraid to pursue your goals? I mean, having a fear, having a real fear. I'm not just talking about procrastination, even though procrastination is a symptom. And you can be afraid to the point where, as you do procrastinate, though, that is the truth. But being really afraid to step out and do something about your current situation, being afraid to pursue the goals and dreams that God has put in your heart and mind. Or your negative thinking can be so pervasive in your life, or let's just say in one's life, that it keeps you separated from developing quality relationships that could enhance the quality of or straight up change your life. How about that? That changes some things too when you look at it like that, when you frame it like that. Because quality relationships are really super, super important in, I believe, in not only just pursuing your goals, but having goals. You can realize that you had no goals. And when you end up with quality relationships and quality people around you, all of that changes. Or you might even say that maybe some of your goals were just silly, but you would have, it's because you didn't have people around you that validated your goals. And they just sort of like, poo pooed them as, okay, those are just your dreams. But getting around the right people all of a sudden made a difference. But if you have a fear of that, then you're never going to get around the right people. And you have to get around the right people. Yeah. Willpower, your willpower, my willpower can only do but so much, honestly. We have power, but it's power that is just, if it's power that's just dependent upon oneself and sort of like one's own motivation, okay. But willpower will never outdo the power of a community, a body. of like-minded people, people who want your success, people who want to be successful, people who want to really get on that purpose-driven road and walk it out and help other people to walk it and walk it out, to live their dreams and goals just like they want to live their dreams and goals. To me, that's real power. Getting around a community, that changes things. It changed some things for me. It changed a lot of things for me. And it's allowed me to pursue the purpose that I now am in. And it's given me the courage to do a lot of things that I honestly, that I would not have done. And if it seems like I'm making a big deal out of it, I am. Because somewhere there's someone else making a big deal out of something that perhaps maybe to me, or maybe is not such a big deal. But getting out here and pursuing a passion and doing it on a regular basis, not knowing how you're going to get it done, but getting it done, let me tell you something. I am so fired up about that I hope you feel it. I hope you feel it because I feel it. And am I having a good time? I absolutely am having a good time because I think that I deserve to have a good time out here on my podcast and that I get to reflect that good time and show you a good time and give you value to let you know what it feels like to be alive in your purpose and doing the things that you want to do and looking out there and seeing who else can you help? Who else can I help? Who else can I share with? I'm going to start sharing some of the DMs and emails and things that I get. So if you'd like to drop an email or drop a DM, a comment for me to share about what you think about the Mitch Race podcast and give me some thoughts about what you're thinking about in terms of self-image. What's your self-image like? What's your self-esteem like? What's your confidence like? Is this helping? Because I believe it is. I'm 1 gazillion times sure of that. But I want to thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you who come out every single Saturday. Those of you who watch the replay, those of you that comment, those of you that comment on YouTube, those of you that comment on Facebook, those of you that comment on Instagram, my community. I am so very grateful. And when I say that, I hope that if you've made a comment, I've never said anything to you, it's just by accident because I try to get back to everyone. But you need to know something. You need to know that you make a supreme difference. And that I am totally, totally grateful for you. I thank God for you and that I pray for you. And I'm always so happy and just so honored to come another day, to be before you another day, praying and believing that I have made a difference in your life. And I've got some neat things coming up that I think that are really going to be helpful to you. I'll be launching a masterclass soon. Yay. I'm excited about that. It's going to be a masterclass, of course, on self-image, self-esteem. Something that's going to be really helpful, super helpful to those of you who are out there who are wondering, can I get to the next level in my self-image and my self-esteem? You absolutely can. And can I help you? I absolutely can, and I will. So just keep watching the space and watching the spots where you are, and you'll get some information. You'll see some information and you'll find out how to register. I'll let you know. But I want to thank you all again. I want you to have a wonderful and amazing Saturday. Until the next time we meet on the Mitch Race podcast, I am Mitch Race. And don't forget, always remember, reframe your vision, reframe your value, and reframe your victory. Everybody have a great weekend. And thanks again.